Some people have asked me about the Jack Swagger thing. Honestly, I think it's a pretty messed up situation. I mean, it's good that WWE is getting behind a young guy, but Swagger was not the guy they should have picked for a lot of reasons. And look how they're doing it, too. I mean, Swagger was jobbing to Santino Marella 5 minutes ago, and now he's the world champion without an ounce of credibility. Will it work? Will Swagger catch on as the champion? I doubt it. I don't think he's ready for that kind of push, first of all. Plus, he's already lost his first match as the champion. I think the best he can hope for is for Edge and Jericho to carry him in this feud, and maybe if he's lucky, he'll be able to hold people's interest for a while. I mean, this is just like what they did with Sheamus. And some of the veterans are leaving, and WWE realizes that they haven't built up anyone new to replace them, so they hit the panic button, and they try to force the creation of these new stars overnight without giving them a proper build-up first. Swagger is the new JBL, where they give him the world title, and then they try to make him a credible main eventer afterward. Has Jack Swagger even gotten over yet? I don't know. I mean, the guy seems like he can wrestle, but his promos leave a lot to be desired, so if you ask me, this is a huge crapshoot. I mean, maybe Edge and Jericho can get Swagger over, maybe Triple H can get Sheamus over. Will they? I'm skeptical, but it's way too early to tell right now. And now for some pretty damn depressing TNA news. Christopher Daniels has been released, and that is just... I don't even understand that. I mean, this man was headlining pay-per-views and Match of the Year contenders just a few months ago, and TNA just gets rid of him? I mean, I know they weren't doing anything with him at the moment, but could they seriously not find anything for Christopher Daniels to do? I mean, I've read that a bunch of other people have been released as well. No one I'm really going to lose sleep over, but Christopher Daniels, man, that hurts. That really hurts. I mean, he's one of those guys who is TNA to me. They get rid of a man like that, and then they decide to do a feud with Rob Terry versus Orlando Jordan? Rob Terry versus Orlando Jordan? I'll get to that in a minute, but Jesus fucking Christ, what are these people thinking? Oh, God. Actually, you know what? I want to talk about the Daniels thing more, but I need to get to Impact while I still have a will to live. What can I say about Impact? Impact sucked this week. How about that? This show was just bad. Really fucking bad. When this show was over, I wanted to climb a clock tower with a high-powered rifle. This was the kind of show that was so horrendous, it's enough to make you want to give up pro wrestling altogether. And the crazy thing about that is that there actually were some pretty good things about this show, but they were completely offset by the atrocities that came along with them. Rob Van Dam and James Storm, they had a pretty decent match. Surprisingly, I liked the Angle-Anderson match a lot, if for no other reason than it was longer than 2 minutes. I mean, Anderson's wrestling style doesn't really lend itself to ladder matches, and Angle's beat up as all hell, but Angle busted his ass in there once again, probably risking serious injury and a few of those bumps, and they had a good ladder match that was not overly short. The problem is, it went on at 9 o'clock. Now, yes, I know you want to keep people tuned in when Raw comes on, but what does it say about the importance of a ladder match between two of your biggest stars when it's not even the main event of the show? Alright, the other thing I liked was the X Division segment. Alright, Doug Williams is finally starting to feel like an X Division champion to me. You know, he cut a really good promo, and the match was good while it lasted, but the match was way too short, and it made no damn sense to job out Generation Me that quickly after you just put them on the map in an incredible match at Destination X. Also, Kazarian is the one with the title shot of Lockdown. So why the fuck is all the focus on Shannon Moore? Even if the match is going to be a triple threat, it doesn't mean that Kazarian should just disappear like this. That's stupid. And this is where I'm going to have to transition into the completely piss-poor aspects of this show, so brace yourselves, alright? Why did this have to be a gauntlet match? Hogan and Bischoff were supposed to put a stop to shit like this, but for some reason, TNA still seems to think that the very existence of gimmick matches is going to draw ratings. TNA, when has that ever worked for you? When has it ever worked? Why do you need to do all this in the same show? Why do you need a ladder match and a gauntlet match and a fucking lockbox elimination striptease match? holy shit. I mean, they start off the show with Christy Hemme explaining the rules of this thing, and they're so damn confusing, I can't even follow them. They tried to do like 50 different things with this match. Somehow the Knockouts title gets switched over to Angelina in such a way that it demeaned not only her, but Tara and the championship. It made Angelina look like shit because she won the title without pinning the champion. It made Tara look like shit because she lost the title without getting pinned. And it made the title look like shit for changing hands under these bullshit, gimmicky as hell circumstances. Tara wins the match, but she loses the title just because of the luck of the draw. What the fuck is that? And the worst part was that they only put the belt back on Angelina in the first place, so Velvet Sky, one of the worst workers they have, could get a title shot against her next week. And the way this is going right now, I would not be at all surprised if Velvet Sky actually won the damn thing. This whole angle was absolutely appalling. Basically, this was TNA knowing that the second hour of the show was going to get completely ass-raped by Raw and Basketball and whatever the hell was on the other channel. So they just threw up their hands and figured, you know what? To hell with love, to hell with the lockdown build-up, to hell with competent, coherent, logical storytelling. Let's just go back to the old standby of pimping and objectifying the beautiful people as a shameless ratings ploy because that's all they're good for. Right, TNA? But that's not all, folks. No, that's not all. There's more. Then we have the Motor City Machine Guns versus Team 3D for the #1 contendership to the tag team titles. This was set up in an angle they did in a web match a few weeks ago. I hate this storyline because in order for this to have happened, the Motor City Machine Guns had to voluntarily put their title shot up for grabs in a match against Team 3D for no reason at all, when they had everything to lose and nothing to gain. So this entire angle completely depends on Sabin and Shelley being complete idiots. Anyway, they were actually having a pretty decent match until the band, these three broken down senior citizens and their fat, racist, white trash mouthpiece, Bubba the human trash love sponge, come out to completely bury all four guys. And that's when I switched over to Raw, because I sure as hell wasn't watching that bullshit. And from reading the recaps, it doesn't look like I missed anything either. Just Hall, Nash, and Waltman doing the same damn stuff they were doing 15 years ago, which stopped being cool 10 years ago. Now at this point, you're probably thinking that the show couldn't possibly get worse. You'd be wrong. The worst was yet to come. TNA is still inexplicably giving Rob Terry the Goldberg push, even though the audience couldn't care less about him. He has a match with Homicide, where the crowd is cheering for Homicide, chanting 187, 187, despite the fact that Homicide was obviously supposed to be the heel, and Terry was obviously supposed to be the face. So Terry squashes Homicide like a jobber, and then to add insult to injury, makes him look like an idiot after the match. But then... Then, the toxic waste icing on this cake of human fecal matter, Orlando Jordan comes out, for some reason smearing all this white, creamy shit all over himself. What? So after all the garbage that we've just endured, TNA is now going to subject us to an Orlando Jordan versus Rob Terry feud? What am I supposed to do with that? I got nothing. I've got nothing. But I'll tell you this much. If Orlando Jordan and Rob Terry are going to be feuding on Impact, you can bet your ass I will be watching Raw. I don't care if Raw has Hornswoggle winning the WWE title. I will watch Raw, and I will call it the best fucking show on earth, because at least it did not have some 7-foot steroid versus a walking stereotype / Black Lady Gaga. TNA, this show absolutely reeked of desperation. This was awful. Freaking terrible. I was embarrassed to be watching this. In one show, you managed to almost completely abandon logic, good taste, and common sense. If you can't do better than this when you're on the road to Lockdown, then you might as well just throw in the fucking towel right now, because Lockdown is my favorite pay-per-view of the whole year, and you just convinced me not to order it. Get your act together, pull your head out of your ass, and for Christ's sake, do better next week.